Yesterday, this was the headline on the BBC, priming the world for more genocide in Gaza. And tonight, this was Gaza. Reports from Gaza City say Israeli airstrikes directly targeted the Al-Ahli hospital without any prior warning. Hundreds are already dead, and the health ministry says that number could go up into the thousands. They bombed hundreds of injured and sick patients, the families of sick patients, nurses, doctors, hospital staff, and hundreds of civilians who were seeking shelter in the courtyards of the hospital because their homes weren't safe and they thought that the hospital was.
دون مبالغة بالوصف هي أعداد أجساد عبارة عن أشلاء لما وجدنا جسدا كاملا متكاملا.
War crime doesn't even begin to describe the levels of the horror that Gaza is witnessing tonight.
On the 17th of October 2023, hundreds of Palestinians were killed when the Al-Ahli Arab hospital in Gaza was bombed. Officials in Gaza blame the blast on an Israeli airstrike. The Israeli army denies responsibility and claims the attack was due to a failed rocket launch by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. They say they used Al Jazeera footage to allegedly confirm these claims.
But you're asking me for proof? You don't need to get proof from me. All you need to do is switch over to Al Jazeera, who broadcasted it live, and you can actually see. I got a screen caption just for you to see. This is Al Jazeera from last night.
Our digital investigations team, SANAD, decided to investigate these claims and conducted an in-depth analysis of this Al Jazeera video, along with several other videos from multiple sources, and established a detailed second-by-second timeline of the events. By analysing Al Jazeera's live stream starting at 1845, the team was able to identify 4 Israeli airstrikes on Gaza, targeting the area near the hospital, starting at 1854-28, then 1855-03, then 1857-42, and then 1858-04. That's military time for just before 7 p.m. local. The team cross-referenced this video with another, captured by a camera situated south of Tel Aviv, showing a wide view of the Gaza Strip. That video shows a series of rocket launches from Gaza. That video clearly shows how the Iron Dome intercepted these rockets. Going back to the Al Jazeera live feed at 1859-35, we can see a single rocket launched from Gaza. This is the rocket in question. This rocket can also be seen on the Israeli video. 15 seconds later, Al Jazeera's live feed shows that the same rocket was intercepted at exactly 18:59:50. This interception has the same afterglow seen in previous interceptions. A closer look at the video captured by the Al Jazeera live feed shows the rocket being completely destroyed and broken apart in the sky. According to all feeds and videos analysed, this rocket was intercepted and was the last one launched from Gaza before the bombing of the hospital. 5 seconds after that interception, an explosion in Gaza can be seen, followed 2 seconds later by a much larger explosion. This is the strike that hit Al-Ahli Arab Hospital. As a result, Al Jazeera digital investigations team found no grounds to the Israeli army claim that the strike on the Al-Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza was caused by a failed rocket launch.
Tonight, audio and photographic analysis sheds new light on what happened. First, the audio analysis. This comes from a consortium of prominent NGOs specialising in human rights investigations. First, Doppler effect sound analysis of the missile tracking to the hospital that night. That analysis produced this mapping. The red line is where the Israelis said the missile was fired from by, they say, Islamic Jihad from within southwestern Gaza. But this new Doppler sound mapping analysis concludes that the missile came from a variety of possible firing points. The blue arrows all east of the hospital, not west as the IDF claimed. The second aspect examined is the tape released by the Israeli Defense Forces. The IDF says it is two Hamas operatives discussing how an Islamic Jihad missile fired from in Gaza malfunctioned, causing the hospital explosion. 2 nights ago, we reported that Arab-speaking experts raised questions about the tone and language of this tape. This recording is made up of 2 separate channels and demonstrates that these 2 voices have been recorded independently. These 2 independent recordings have then been edited together in a digital audio workstation. Though this audio analysis cannot categorically state that the audible dialogue is fake, we can say that the level of manipulation required to edit these 2 voices together disqualifies it as a source of credible evidence. Earshot's opinion is that this recording does not meet the standard required for evidence and should not be used by the media without the clear caveat that it has been digitally manipulated. We turn now to the image analysis carried out by Forensic Architecture at London University. Those radial fragmentation marks open towards the southwest, with a shallow channel leading to the crater from the northeast. Their conclusion matches the audio analysis of the missile track. They say whatever hit the hospital car park that night was fired from the northeast and not from the southwest of Gaza, as the Israeli Defense Forces claim.
Based on the information we've seen to date, it appears the result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza.
Israel claims this video shows that happening and says aerial images of the aftermath do not show a crater, which would be expected after an airstrike.
Joe Biden, like, I actually hate this guy now. Like, this is how stupid the Israeli government and Western media thinks that you are. Guys, the hole's not big enough, so it couldn't have been from an Israeli missile. Like, this is the dumbest bullshit ever. Like, hold on. The Israelis told you that they were going to bomb the hospitals ahead of time, like 3 days in advance. And the hospitals told the government, hey, we've got people that we can't evacuate. Like, there's babies in incubators and people that are paralyzed. And they did it anyways.
Do you confirm what you were saying there, that the hospital did receive warnings from the Israelis to evacuate the hospital?
Yes, I think that the facts on the ground that we have not only Al-Ahli hospital that received the warning for evacuation. Like all the people from North Gaza, at least 15 hospitals received the warning, including the Al-Ahli hospital that received the warning to evacuate the hospital. Yeah.
He goes on to talk about how unethical it would be for him to like abandon the civilians that were taking shelter in the hospitals and whatever. Hold on. You know how dumb all of you are? It's not just that you think that the Islamists have been shooting rockets for like 20 years, all of a sudden made one rocket boomerang back to its own hospital. That's not the dumb part. You know what the dumb part is? The Israelis already bombed the hospital that they leveled. Like, they took out the comms and diagnostic station first. Like, dude, can you not just look at the date? They bombed the hospital that they're saying they didn't level 2 days prior to leveling it. That's how dumb all of you are. I just can't. I can't. Then the government takes credit for it on 3 separate occasions. Goes on Twitter, is like, yay, we bombed a hospital that Hamas was using 1,000 civilians as meat shields for. So they took credit for it. We're not even done. Then, like a boss level narcissist, you blame the people that you bomb for somehow defying the laws of physics to make their 3D printed rockets somehow boomerang back on their own hospital, and you play this doctored up clip as evidence.
Israel's also released what it says is an intercepted conversation between 2 militants. It's from us, asks one. It looks like it, replies the other.
You're telling me that you can intercept messages from terrorists, but you actually have to bomb thousands of children before you can get to one because like they're so hard to find. That's what you're telling me.
They present what they say is 2 Hamas operatives talking about the attack. Hamas call this an obvious fabrication. 2 independent Arab journalists told us the same thing because of the language, accent, dialect, syntax and tone, none of which is, they say, credible. Equally, Israel claims the Islamic Jihad failed missile was fired from here, a cemetery very close to the hospital. But look again at the video of the event. The trajectory of the missile doesn't line up with that location.
I don't know what the icing on the cake is for all this, is that when the Israeli government was getting backlash for targeting the hospital networks, their ambassador to the EU was like, oh yeah, we didn't level that building. But if we did, we're allowed to. Like, they pulled an OJ, like, oh, if I had killed my wife, this is how I would have done it.
when they told us what they were going to do. When the army spokesperson said, quote, the emphasis is on damage and not on accuracy. When the defence minister said, we will eliminate everything. When they gave written threats repeatedly to hospitals in Gaza saying, we're going to bomb you. We should believe them. When the Israeli ambassador on the RT radio this morning denied doing it, but said Israel has the right to bomb hospitals in Gaza. It's time for action t-shirt.
Do you want to know how blind all of you are? Like 10 years ago, the Israeli government asked Stevie Wonder to do a charity gig for IDF. This dude hasn't seen a ray of sunshine in 40 plus years. And even he's like, nah fam, I don't want to support them either. Like that's how blind all of you are.